local artist in our community. He's actually a producer. He's taken his talents all over the world. We were just talking about his Bollywood films, but also want to talk to you about some hit singles you got going in Europe right now.
Sure, no problem.
Tell us what's happening.
It's this song called Did You Think by this artist named Jennifer Abadesso. She's a Portuguese-Canadian artist here, and she's toured Europe, and people like her out there, so we did a single, and we actually got Moka Only on the single, if you remember Canadian hip-hop artist Moka Only.
Yeah.
And on a whim, she sent it out to her contacts in Europe, and next thing you know, it starts charting. And last I heard, it's charting in Luxembourg, and it's charting in Portugal on the, I guess what the equivalent of their CBC is. I think it's called RTP. I don't know what it means.
I won't quote you.
It's a national TV and radio show, and then it's actually it hit #1 in Paris, France.
No, I've been in Portugal. They love their pop music there.
Yeah, they do.
They really get behind a song. Tell me what this experience must be like for you to have put yourself involved in something like this and getting your name out there.
I don't know. It's always cool because, you know, like I did travel to Portuguese with a whole bunch of friends for the World Cup. What was it, 2004? And so when I was there, yeah, I was listening to all the music, and sort of, you know, gave me a sense of what the mainstream there does appreciate. And I was like, oh, it's very, very pop, and you know, sort of leaning on the light side of things, right?
It's very dancey. It's very upbeat. It's very happy.
And so
much like Bollywood, perhaps.
Yeah. In a weird, it's like the rock version of Bollywood or something. Yeah. And so when Jennifer came in the studio and we're working on her tracks, and the first track, it was a lighter tune, and now we've got a whole bunch of other cool tunes coming out with the rest of her album as well, which are a little bit more hardcore on the dance or a little more rock and roll, and they actually also feature other international elements. So we're hoping after we go from Portugal and we got some Luxembourg and and France, of course, that the next songs there's a single that actually has some Indian influence, of course. I couldn't resist. And there's another song that actually has some Chinese influence. So if we can get a hit song in China...
It's a lot of people in China.
That's a lot of people. And of course, I'm not sure with all their bans on YouTube and everything else, maybe nothing gets into China without some sort of 3-page document. But
right, yeah, you need a release. You need a release for them, definitely.
But we'll try, because I'm sure there's someone who knows how to ship things into China.
Yeah, well, you keep shipping things out. We've got to get some ships. Now, tell me, do you tweak music differently and knowing who the recipient of the music is going to be? Again, preparing something for Portugal or the European audience versus an audience here?
Yeah, like, I think... in order of priority, right, the first thing you got to do is, like, going back to what you said, how do you get that relationship going with an artist? First thing you got to do is sit down with the artist and talk to the artist. What do they want? And part of that question is, well, what's their goal even as an artist? Because obviously someone who's a hardcore punk band is going to be completely different from someone who wants to have, a dance hit in the UK. A completely different way of tackling the music, producing the music, mixing the music, and if you have that focus, then you really know what to do with the artist and give them something that they're going to be happy with.
Well, what about this artist, Jennifer? What was her goal? What was her aspirations?
She came in with some songs that she played me the stuff that she'd produced before we met, and her whole thing was, she said, I like the songs, but just something isn't hitting about them. She couldn't really put her finger on it. And so I listened to the songs, and in my opinion, I turned to her and I said, it's a little vague, but the best way I could describe it, it just doesn't sound current.
Okay.
It doesn't have, it doesn't have those cool sounds that you'd hear right now. Like for a pop artist, like...
Yeah, like what are those sounds?
Well, whether people love her or hate her, the reality is Lady Gaga is a hit.
I know. Do you know what? She's really growing on me.
Yeah,
I didn't like her to begin with, but now I'm just like, wow, she's got some talent.
I dig her, and she sings live, something that's rare, and I think a lot of artists should do more of, especially if people are paying for tickets.
Speaking of China, so this just came out in the news yesterday. China has just announced that they are no longer allowing anybody to lip sync in the whole country.
They say that, come on.
Well, this is all because of the Olympics we were talking about, of course, as remember the girl who had been lip syncing, and it turns out it wasn't her voice at all. But what's this going to do for the karaoke business and all these things. I don't know
Yeah.
how this
Well,
is
I
going
don't
to
know.
work.
I suppose if I was an artist in China, I might be scared. But
Yeah.
but at the same
Back
time,
to
what
you.
are they going to do, right? Like
Yeah.
you're in a club, you're lip syncing. Who does anyone really care?
Well, so many artists really do, and I
Yeah.
think when you strike some real talent, you really need to foster that and use
Yeah.
it. And what's Jennifer like when it comes to singing?
She's great. You know, she performs live. She's toured all of Europe before, and she comes in, and you know what? To be honest, she's one of the easiest singers to work with in the studio. You know, we work on the song, we compose it, it's very collaborative, and then when she comes into the studio, you know, hit record, and we get the song recorded, like her vocals, all of it done in like 1, maximum 2 hours, which is, for people who don't know what it's like in the studio, for a pop song, that's really, really unprecedented.
Okay.
You know, a lot of artists will take, you know, 1 day, 2 days, something ridiculous sometimes to record, and rightfully so, it can be really challenging stuff, but she comes in, she's prepared, she just nails it.
And there's layers to this too, of course.
Yeah.
You got to do the drums and you got to do the bass, whatever it may
Right.
be, you got to order. Now, we were just starting to talk about some of the hot beats right now and some of the trends music. I want to get back to that because
Sure.
times there are changing, it seems.
Times where? Everywhere?
Here. Well, you know, there's a little bit, like I was talking about Ludacris on the show the other day and how, you know, comedy is still influencing music and the different types of beat, but also the technologies that are changing in the music too. Can you maybe fill us in on some of the trends right now in music?
Trends in music? Well, everything's gone digital, of course. That's been going on for years. It's just getting more and more and more digital. And the one thing that I've noticed that happens in pop songs is that, you know, when a new piece of technology comes out, it definitely influences the music. So, for instance, when you know, I think I was talking this before, when Autotune came out, you know, some people started using it, and then eventually, I guess...
This is the technology, of course, for those at home who don't know what Autotune is.
You know, does this sort of robotic sort of quality in the voices, and then, you know, T-Pain gets a hold of it, and the next thing you know, everyone, you know, including Kesha, what's her, Kesha?
Kesha Shanti?
No, the TikTok song, Kesha, Kesha. Anyways, hit song.
Kesha.
But anyways, yeah, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what song you're talking about.
The crew here knows this one. Yeah, exactly. You know, everyone's using it now, right?
Yeah.
But that's going to die because now it's done, right? It's like people get tired of it. But every time a new piece of it essentially used to be new hardware back in like the days of Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. Now it's new software. New piece of software comes out, allows people to do something easily that they couldn't do easily before. And they start using it because it's cool and it's new and people like to hear it, and then people get tired of it, and then they find something else that's new. So it's, I guess in a weird way, it's programmers and software developers that are shaping the sounds of pop music now.
I'd love to have you back on the show. I wanted to talk to you more about like recycling these trends as well, but we don't have time for that just now. But I want to ask you, you're always looking for new talent, new fun people to collaborate with if they'd like to get involved with you. How do some of our viewers do that?
You know what? Hit me up at FatLabs, fatlabs.com. My number and email's there. And I actually just rolled out a new program with a company called Landed Entertainment called Build Your Band, where we're helping the new artists go from the recording straight to video production, and we throw in a photo shoot in there too. So it's something to help the new artists get their foot off the ground, hopefully end up with a hit song like Jennifer's done with her track Did You Think?
Well, I wish you the best of success.
Thank you.
Well, right now you can hear our music coming in. It's our daytime theme song. Maybe you'll tell me a great way to remix this in our
Maybe
commercial
I'll
break.
rewrite something for you.
Da da da. Hey hey. We'll be right back after this as I sing us out. More in daytime.